My name is Mary Quirian. I'm 29 years old, an apps caseworker in California. On October 18th, 2025, I boarded a 5 and 1 2 hour flight from Los Angeles to Honolulu, knowing I wasn't invited to my sister Natalie's wedding. 3 weeks earlier, my father sent one cold email: "Don't attend. You'll ruin Natalie's day, your divorce, your job, the distance. It's all embarrassing. Stay away." He thought I was the weak one, the failure, the scapegoat who would never fight back. He had no idea I'd spent the last 14 months quietly building a case. He had no idea they had moved my 82-year-old grandmother to a luxury facility in Kauai, isolated her, controlled her calls, and stolen $340,000 from her accounts. And he definitely had no idea that I wasn't flying there to crash the wedding. I was flying to save the only person who had ever truly protected me. What happened next destroyed everything they tried to hide. The pity in her voice was always louder than the words. At the 2023 family reunion, my Aunt Linda pulled me aside and said, "You know, Mary, we all worry about you. You've abandoned your grandmother. You abandoned this family. It's very sad." I tried to call my grandmother that week 3 times. Every time the facility staff said she was resting or unavailable or having a hard day. I didn't know then that they were lying because in March of 2024, my father and mother made a decision. They moved my grandmother, Josephine, from her small assisted living facility in Santa Barbara to a place called Paradise Palms Senior, living in Kua, Oahu, over 2,000 m from California, from her friends, from anyone who might ask questions. The reason they gave was beautiful weather, better care, she'll love it, my father's email said. The real reason, I would learn later, was control. Grandma Josephine was 82. She had early stage dementia, the kind that meant she had moments of confusion, but also long stretches of complete clarity. She was sharp, she was funny, she remembered things my father wished she'd forget. And she was the only person in that family who had ever treated me like I mattered. When I was 16 and my father screamed at me for getting a B in chemistry, Grandma pulled me into the kitchen and said, "Your grandfather got a C in chemistry. He still became the best man I ever knew. Don't let your father's fear make you small." When I told her I wanted to study social work, she smiled and said, "Good. The world needs people who give a damn." When I got divorced, she was the only one who called. "Are you okay?" she asked. Not "what did you do wrong," not "we're disappointed." Just "are you okay?" So when they moved her to Hawaii in March of 2024, I tried to stay in touch. I called the facility 11 times in the first month, every time the same response: "She's resting. She's not available. She's having a difficult adjustment period." I started to think maybe I was the problem. Maybe I really had abandoned her like my aunt said. Maybe my grandmother didn't want to talk to me. And then on May 23rd, 2024 at 11:47 p.m., my phone rang, restricted number. I almost didn't answer. When I did, I heard her voice shaking, urgent, terrified. "Mary, I only have a few minutes. They don't know I have this phone." I sat up in bed. "Grandma, where are you? Are you okay?" "No." Her voice broke. "No, sweetheart, I'm not okay. Vincent moved me here. He said it was for my health. But Mary, they control everything. My mail, my visitors, my phone calls, my phone. I can't even call you unless I borrow a phone from one of the night nurses, and even then, she could lose her job if anyone found out." My chest tightened. "Grandma, what do you mean they control everything?" "Vincent comes once a month," she whispered. "He brings papers. He says I have to sign them for my care. He says for the facility. But Mary, I don't understand what I'm signing anymore. And when I try to ask questions, he gets that tone. You know the tone." I knew the tone. He tells me I'm confused. He tells me I'm having a hard day. And the staff, they're nice, Mary, but they believe him. They think I'm just an old woman who doesn't understand her own finances. I closed my eyes. I'd seen this before in my work over and over. Financial exploitation of dependent adults, isolation, coercion, gaslighting. The pattern was textbook. "Grandma," I said slowly, "are you safe? Are they hurting you?" "Not physically," she said. "But Mary, I feel like a prisoner. I'm in room 203. They moved me to the isolation wing 2 weeks ago. They said it was for my own. But I think it's because I asked too many questions about where my money was going." "Your money." She was quiet for a moment. Then I had savings, Mary, from when your grandfather died, from the house we sold. I had over $500,000. It was supposed to be for you and Natalie. An inheritance, something to help you both. My blood went cold. But Vincent has power of attorney now, she continued. He got me to sign it the day they moved me here, March 15th, and ever since then, there's been withdrawals, large ones. He says they're for my care, for upgrades to my room, for special therapy. But Mary, I don't get special therapy. Full. I get the same meals as everyone else. I don't understand where the money is going. I grabbed a pen, started writing. How much, Grandma? How much has he withdrawn? I don't know exactly, she said. But last time I saw a statement, he left it on the table by accident. It said my balance was down to $180,000. That was 2 months ago. $320,000. Gone. Grandma, I said carefully, can you get me copies of those statements? Can you? No. Her voice was sharp, scared. Mary, if they find out I called you, they'll take the phone. They'll move me somewhere I can't call anyone. I needed you to know. I needed someone to know that I'm not crazy, that something is wrong. You're not crazy, I said. Grandma, I believe you, and I'm going to help you. I promise. I have to go, she whispered. The nurse is coming back. Mary, don't tell Vincent. Please, if he knows I called you. The line went dead. I sat there in the dark for a long time, phone in my hand, heart pounding. Then I opened my laptop and started a new document. Case file, unofficial, personal, victim. Josephine Quirian, age 82, suspected perpetrator, Vincent Quirian. And I got to work. Over the next 14 months, my grandmother called me 23 times. Always late at night, always brief, always when the sympathetic night nurse, Jessica, though I never learned her last name, would let her borrow a phone. Each call added another piece to the puzzle. Call number 3, June 15th, 2024. Vincent brought Natalie last week. They were celebrating something. She showed me pictures of an office she'd rented. She said the money came from family investments. But Mary, I never approved any investments for Natalie's business. Call number 8, July 15th. There's a pattern. Vincent visits every second Tuesday of the month, always between 2 and 4 Caiaphas. He puts the pen in my hand and says, just sign here, Mother. It's for your care. I'm so tired by then, Mary. I just signed. Call number 12, September 3rd. September 3rd. I heard him on the phone in the hallway. He said, after the ceremony, we'll finalize everything. She'll sign the last transfer. Then it's done. Mary, what ceremony? What transfer? I took notes. 62 pages of handwritten notes, dates, times, details, cross-referenced with everything I knew about financial elder abuse from my casework, and I started pulling records. Grandma signed a limited power of attorney authorization, faxed it to me through the facility's business office. The staff thought it was for estate planning consultation. Technically, it was. On September 3rd, 2025, I received 18 pages of bank statements, $340,217.50 withdrawn over 11 months from December 2023 through October 2024. Every withdrawal between $25,000 and $35,000. Every withdrawal made on a day when the facility's visitor log showed Vincent Query unpresent. The stated purposes according to the withdrawal slips: enhanced care services, specialized medical therapy, facility upgrades for resident safety. I called the facility's billing department, pretended to be verifying insurance coverage for a family member considering admission. And what's the average cost for your enhanced care services? I asked. Our base rate includes all standard care, the woman said pleasantly. The woman said pleasantly. We don't charge separately for enhancements, unless a resident requires round-the-clock nursing, which is an additional $4,000 a month. And specialized therapy, that's covered under our partnership with Medicare and most insurance plans. We don't bill separately for physical or occupational therapy. I thanked her and hung up. Then I pulled up the California Secretary of State's business registry. Natalie Quirian Media, LLC, registered April 3rd, 2024. Initial capital investment, $340,000. Source of funds listed, family trust. I stared at that screen for a long time. My sister's influencer business funded with money stolen from our grandmother. And my parents, my father, definitely my mother probably had helped make it happen. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't throw my laptop across the room. I opened a new tab and started researching elder law attorneys in Honolulu. Because this wasn't about anger anymore. This was a case. On August 20th, 2025, my grandmother called with news. Vincent and Claire were here yesterday, she said. Her voice sounded different, flatter, like she was reading from a script she'd memorized. They told me about Natalie's wedding, October 20th, a destination wedding in Hawaii at a place called Sunset Chapel in Honolulu. I wrote down the name. That's nice, Grandma. Mary, her voice dropped. They were too excited. Not about the wedding, about something else. Vincent kept saying, finally, everyone will be together. Finally, we can finish this properly. Finish what? I don't know. But after they left, I heard him on the phone in the parking lot. I was at my window. He didn't know I could hear him. She took a breath. He said, after the ceremony, we'll finalize everything. She'll sign the last transfer. Then it's done. My pen stopped moving. The last transfer. I think he means the house, Mary, your grandfather's house in Santa Barbara. It's paid off, worth about $685,000. It's still in my name, but Vincent's been talking about quitclaim deeds, about simplifying my estate, about making sure everything is properly allocated before her voice cracked. Before I'm gone, I closed my eyes. The wedding wasn't just a wedding. It was the end game. Gather the family, create the appearance of unity and celebration, get Grandma tired and emotional from the event, then the next day at some quiet family dinner, slide the papers across the table. Sign here, Mother. It's just to make things easier for your peace of mind. With witnesses, with lawyers, with the image of a loving family doing the responsible thing. And Grandma would sign because she'd be exhausted, because Vincent would use that tone because she wouldn't want to ruin Natalie's happiness. Grandma, I said quietly, when is this happening? The wedding is October 20th. Vincent mentioned something about a family dinner on the 21st at a restaurant. He said we'd all celebrate together and take care of some paperwork while we were all in one place. October 21st. I had 2 months. Grandma, I said, I'm going to fix this. I promise. But I need you to trust me. I do trust you, sweetheart. She was crying now, soft, tired. You're the only one I trust. But Mary, what can you do? You're in California. They're going to make me sign. And once I do, they're not going to make you sign anything. I said, because I'm coming to get you. Silence. Then Mary, they didn't invite you to the wedding. I know. If you come here, Vincent will. I don't care what Vincent does. My voice was steady, cold. You said it yourself, Grandma. The wedding is when they'll finish this, which means the wedding is my only chance to stop them. How? I smiled even though she couldn't see me. I'm an APS caseworker, Grandma. This is what I do for a living. And you just gave me everything I need. On September 12th, 2025, I had a Zoom meeting with an attorney named Thomas Brennan. I'd found him through the Hawaii State Bar Association. His reviews mentioned words like tenacious and doesn't back down and will fight for seniors. I spent 40 minutes laying it out, the timeline, the bank statements, the pattern of visits, the recordings of my grandmother's calls, 8 of them made with her verbal consent, clearly stating she felt coerced and didn't understand what she was signing. Thomas listened without interrupting. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. Mary, this is one of the clearest cases of financial elder abuse I've seen in 15 years. Your father is using power of attorney to systematically drain your grandmother's estate. The money trail is obvious. The coercion is documented. If we can get this in front of a judge, we can freeze the accounts and start an investigation. What do we need? I asked. Your grandmother's testimony in person, on video, while she's lucid. She needs to clearly state that she did not knowingly consent to these transfers and that she feels isolated and coerced. How long does she need to be lucid? 20 minutes, maybe less if she's clear. Just enough to establish competency, confirm the facts, and request protection. I thought about Grandma's pattern. The lucid windows that could last an hour or more in the mornings, the way she'd fade in the afternoons. I can get you 20 minutes, I said. Thomas nodded slowly. Then we file a temporary protective order, emergency hearing, freeze the accounts, stop the transfers. Your father would be blocked from accessing her finances until a full investigation is completed. And if my father tries to fight it, he will fight it, Thomas said. He'll hire lawyers. He'll claim your grandmother is incompetent and you're manipulating her. He'll try to get emergency guardianship. Can he win? Not if we get her testimony first. Thomas leaned forward. Mary, the timing matters here. If your father completes that final transfer, if he gets her to sign over the house, it becomes much harder to unwind. Property transfers are stickier than cash withdrawals. We need to stop this before October 21st. I looked at the calendar on my wall. September 12th, 5 weeks. 5 weeks. I'll get her testimony, I said. But I need help on the ground. Someone in Hawaii who can be there when I extract her. Extract her from the facility during the wedding when my father and mother are distracted. Thomas was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled. You're going to need an APS investigator as a witness. Let me make a call. 2 days later, I was on the phone with James Whitaker, Adult Protective Services Hawaii, badge number high 826,593. He'd worked elder abuse cases for 12 years. Thomas had briefed him on the situation. Your plan is insane, James said. But he didn't sound like he was saying no. It's the only window we have, I said. The wedding is at 4:00 p.m. on October 20th, Sunset Chapel in Honolulu. My father and mother will be there. They'll have left the facility hours earlier. The staff will be on reduced weekend coverage. In my grandmother's lucid windows are usually best in the mid to late afternoons. What do you need from me? Witness her testimony. Help me get her out safely. Make sure everything we do is legally defensible. And if your father accuses you of kidnapping, then you show the police your badge in the video of an 82-year-old woman with capacity clearly stating she wants to leave. A PS-assisted removal of a vulnerable adult from an unsafe situation. Textbook. James laughed. You've done this before. I've done cases like this 100 times, I said, just never with my own family. What's the facility layout? I'll send you the address. Can you do recon? I'll visit this week undercover. Pretend I'm checking it out for a relative. He paused. Mary, if we do this, we do it clean. No corners cut, no legal gray area, because the second your father's lawyers get involved, they'll look for any crack in our procedure. I understand. And if your grandmother isn't lucid that day, if she can't give clear testimony, I close my eyes. Then we abort and I lose. Okay. James exhaled. I'm in. Let's get this old woman out of there. On September 20th, 2025, I booked my flight. United Airlines Flight 1523. LAX to Honolulu, October 18th, 2025. Departure 10:15 a.m. One way, $426. I requested time off from work. October 17th through October 25th. My supervisor asked if everything was okay. Family emergency, I said. I hope it's nothing serious. It will be, I said, but it needs to happen. I booked a room at the Waikiki Grand Hotel. 4 nights, room 856, $189 a night. 12-minute taxi ride from the Paradise Palms facility according to Google Maps. I packed carefully. 1 carry-on bag, no checked luggage. I needed to move fast. Inside my APS badge, 2 voice recorders, printed copies of the bank statements, printed timeline, a medical alert bracelet I'd ordered online engraved with Josephine Quirian, emergency contact Mary Furin, $61,955,823, cash $800 and phone chargers, change of clothes. Phone chargers, change of clothes. And then on September 28th, the email I'd been expecting arrived from Vincent Quirian. Subject, Natalie's wedding. Mary, we know you haven't been in touch much lately, and frankly, that's been easier for everyone. Natalie's wedding is a celebration of family unity and success. Given your situation, the divorce, your job struggles, your distance from us, we think it's best if you sit this one out. This isn't personal. It's just what's best for Natalie. She deserves a day without complications. Please respect that. Dad CCL Claire, Quirian, Natalie, Quirian. I read it 3 times. Then I closed my laptop and smiled because he just made it easier. If they weren't expecting me, they wouldn't be looking for me. I waited 3 days. Then on October 1st, I replied, I understand. Have a beautiful wedding. I didn't say I wouldn't be in Hawaii. I just said I understood. And I did. I understood exactly who they were. The next 2 weeks were a blur of coordination. James visited the facility 3 times as a nephew checking out care options for a relative. He mapped the layout, confirmed that shift change happened every Sunday at 300 p.m. 15-minute gap with skeleton crew and distracted front desk. Thomas prepared the temporary protective order paperwork. Everything ready to file Monday morning, October 21st. All he needed was the video testimony. I made my final arrangements, printed boarding pass, confirmed hotel reservation, triple-checked that my phone recorder was charged, and that I had backup batteries. On October 16th at 11:52 p.m., Grandma called one last time before I left. "Mary," she whispered, "I'm scared." "I know, Grandma." "What if Vincent finds out you're coming? What if he won't find out until it's too late?" I said, "Grandma, all you have to do is be ready Sunday afternoon when someone knocks on your door and says they're from Apps. That's me. That's James. And we're getting you out." "And then what?" "And then you're safe. And then we stop them. And then I stopped. And then you come home with me, Grandma, if you want to." She was crying. I could hear it in her breathing. "I want to," she said. "Mary, I just want to be somewhere I don't have to be afraid." "You will be." I promised. 2 more days. On October 17th at 1:00 p.m., I was standing in my apartment, suitcase by the door, when my phone buzzed. Email from my father. "And Mary, don't even think about showing up in Hawaii." I mean it. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I typed one line. "See you in Hawaii, Dad." I hit send, turned off my phone, and went to bed. The next morning, October 18th, 2025, I woke up at 6 a.m., showered, dressed in jeans and a plain black shirt, pulled my hair back, put on my Apps badge on a lanyard under my jacket. I looked at myself in the mirror. 29 years old, scapegoat daughter, failed marriage, $52,000 a year job my family thought was embarrassing. But I had something they didn't. I had the truth, and I had the skills to prove it. I grabbed my bag and headed to LAX. The flight was unremarkable. Seat 12 a window, exit row, 5 in 2 hours over the Pacific Ocean. While families around me laughed about vacations and couples held hands, and retirees talked about finally seeing Hawaii. I didn't sleep. I reviewed my timeline 4 times, listened to 2 of Grandma's recordings with earbuds, mentally rehearsed the extraction plan. Somewhere over the ocean, my seatmate, a grandmother in her 70s traveling to see her daughter, smiled at me. "First time in Hawaii." I nodded. "You'll love it," she said. "It's paradise." I looked out the window at the endless blue below. "I hope so," I said. We landed at 3:45 p.m. Hawaii time. The air was warm, humid, bright. Honolulu International Airport was full of tourists in floral shirts and families, with leis and people who were here to relax. I walked straight to the taxi stand. 22 minutes later, I checked into the Waikiki Grand Hotel. The woman at the front desk smiled. "Welcome to Hawaii. Are you here for vacation?" "Business," I said. She handed me a key card. "Room 856, 8th floor, ocean view." I took the elevator up, unlocked the door, and stepped inside. The room was clean, generic, a king bed, a desk, a window overlooking the beach where people were surfing and lying in the sun and living their normal lives. I set my bag on the desk and pulled out my evidence binder. Then I texted James, "I'm here." His reply came immediately. "Meeting at facility parking lot tomorrow, 300 p.m. Be ready." At 6:00 p.m., I had my Zoom call with Thomas. We reviewed the plan one more time. Mary and James extract Grandma during the wedding, get her to the hotel, record video testimony while she's lucid, file the temporary protective order. Monday morning, 20 minutes of clear testimony. Thomas said that's all I need. She states her name, her age, confirms she didn't authorize the withdrawals, confirms she feels isolated and coerced, and requests protection. Can she do that? She'll do it, I said. And if she's not lucid, then I wait, I said, and we lose the window and Vincent completes the transfer. Thomas was quiet. "Mary, your father will lawyer up the second he realizes she's gone. Be prepared for war." "I've been preparing for 14 months, I said. After the call, I sat in the dark hotel room and listened to the rain that had started falling outside. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I opened the text. "This is Jessica, night nurse at Paradise Palms. I don't know what you're planning, but I want you to know your grandma talks about you all the time. She's scared. Please be careful tomorrow." I stared at that text. Then I replied, "Thank you. I will." At 10:30 p.m., I was lying in bed, unable to sleep when I made the mistake of opening Instagram. Natalie had posted a photo of her and my parents at some fancy restaurant, the rehearsal dinner. She was wearing white. Brandon, her fiancé, had his arm around her. My father was smiling that cold smile. My mother looked perfect in cream. The caption, rehearsal dinner, was perfect. Tomorrow I marry my best friend. 1856 likes. My mother had commented, "So proud of you, sweetheart." I scrolled through the comments. Cousins, friends, everyone saying congratulations. Everyone talking about how beautiful she looked, how happy they were. I typed a comment, a single red heart emoji, posted it. Natalie would never know what it meant. That heart was a promise. Then at 11:03 p.m., another text arrived. Jessica again? Mary, I don't know how to tell you this. They moved your grandma to the isolation wing this afternoon, room 206. They said it was for her safety during the busy weekend. Visiting hours end at 8:00 p.m. tonight. Tomorrow is Sunday. Family only visiting policy. I'm so sorry. I read that message 3 times. Isolation, wing family only Sundays. Vincent knew something, or he was just being controlling like always. Either way, the window was closing. I texted James. They moved her to isolation wing. Does that change the plan? His reply, no. Makes it harder, but we're still going. 3:00 p.m., don't be late. I set my phone down, stared at the ceiling, and waited for morning. October 20th, 2025. Wedding day, I woke at 8:00 a.m. Couldn't eat breakfast. I couldn't focus on anything. I spent the morning pacing the hotel room, checking my bag, rechecking the recorder, making sure my phone was fully charged. At 1:00 p.m., I checked Natalie's Instagram. She'd posted a photo of her dress. White, flowing beautiful. 2 hours until I become Mrs. Walsh. 3,000 likes already. I put my phone away. 2:55 p.m., I left the hotel. The taxi ride took 12 minutes. Paradise Palm Senior Living was a low, sprawling building painted in soft yellows and whites, palm trees, manicured lawns, a sign that said, "Where comfort meets care." James was waiting in the parking lot. Gray Honda Civic. He got out when he saw my taxi pull up. Mid-40s, short hair, a PS badge clipped to his belt, clipboard in hand. Mary, I nodded. He handed me a visitor badge. You're with me. A PS casework consultation. Act like you belong. If anyone asks, we're doing a routine wellness check. Don't hesitate. Hesitation gets you caught. I've been ready for 14 months, I said. We walked toward the entrance. 3:12 p.m., the lobby was quiet. Tropical music playing softly. Receptionist on the phone nodding absently at our badges. The hallway smelled like sanitizer and artificial orchids. James checked his notes. Room 206, East Wing, isolation area. We turned a corner. The hallway was empty. James knocked twice on the door. Mrs. Quirian, a PS wellness check. The silence. Then I heard her voice shaky, confused. Who's there? I pushed the door open. And there she was. My grandmother, 82 years old, thinner than I remembered, wearing a facility gown, medical bracelet on her wrist, sitting in bed, looking small and scared. She stared at me, then recognition. You came. You actually came. I thought maybe you'd forgotten about me. I knelt beside the bed. I could never forget you, Grandma. Never. James stayed by the door, keeping watch. Grandma, I said, we're leaving. We're right now. She looked at the door, but Vincent said, I don't care what Vincent said. I pulled the medical bracelet I'd made out of my bag. You're coming with me. I took off the facility bracelet, put mine on her wrist. Emergency contact Mary Quirian. She looked at it, then at me. You're just like your grandfather, she whispered. He never let anyone push him around either. I pulled clothes out of my bag. A simple dress, sweater, comfortable shoes. Can you get dressed? We need to move fast. She nodded. While she changed, I set up my phone on the bedside table. Grandma, I need you to do something for me. I need you to tell me on camera what happened about the money, about Vincent, about why you want to leave. Can you do that? She looked at the camera. Yes, she said, I can do that. I hit record, and for 18 minutes and 33 seconds, my grandmother gave the clearest, most devastating testimony I've ever heard. She stated her name, her age, where she was. She talked about how Vincent moved her here without really asking, how he controlled her calls, her mail, her visitors. She talked about the papers he made her sign every month, how he'd put the pen in her hand and say, just sign here, Mother, it's for your care. She talked about the money, $340,000, how she never understood where it went. how she asked questions and was told she was confused. I don't think I was confused, she said, looking directly at the camera. I think my son was stealing from me. Her voice cracked. I signed papers because I trusted him, because he's my son, but I didn't know what I was signing, and I didn't consent to him taking that money. She paused. I feel like a prisoner here. I want to go home. I want to be with Mary. She's the only one who listens to me. She's the only one I trust. When she finished, she looked at me. Did I do okay? I was crying. I didn't even realize it until that moment. Grandma, you did perfect. James stepped into the room. We need to go. Shift change is ending now. I helped Grandma into the wheelchair we grabbed from the hallway, covered her with a blanket. James led the way down the hallway, past the empty nurse's station, out the side exit, into the parking lot, into James' car. We drove away at 4:12 p.m. 2 minutes later, my phone started buzzing. Text from an unknown number. Mrs. Quirian is missing from her room. Another text. It's security alerted, security alerted. Then my phone lit up. Mom, Dad, Natalie. I handed the phone to Grandma. Want to see them panic? She looked at the screen. 14 missed calls in 3 minutes. And she smiled. For the first time in months, Grandma smiled. At 4:16 p.m., while the wedding ceremony was still happening, my father's text arrived. Whoa, Mary, if you have mother, you return her immediately. This is kidnapping. I have power of attorney. You will be arrested. I typed one reply. She's safe. She's with me, and she's not going back. Then I turned off my phone. We drove to the Waikiki Grand, got Grandma up to room 856. She sat on the bed wrapped in a hotel bathrobe drinking ginger tea I'd ordered from room service. She looked at me. What happens now? I sat beside her, showed her my phone. 31 text messages, threats, panic, rage. Now I said, now we wait for them to realize they lost. The next 48 hours were chaos. Monday morning, October 21st. Thomas filed the temporary protective order at 9:00 a.m. At 10:30 a.m., my father filed a police report claiming I kidnapped my grandmother. At 2 p.m., 2 police officers came to the hotel to interview me. I showed them my APS badge, showed them the video testimony, showed them the bank statements. Ma'am, the officer said carefully, your father says you kidnapped your grandmother. Is that accurate? Officer, I said calmly, I'm an APS caseworker. I became an APS caseworker. I removed my grandmother from a facility where she was being financially exploited. She gave voluntary testimony. Here's the video. Would you like me to send you a copy? He watched 2 minutes of it. I don't think we have a crime here, ma'am, he said. My father hired a lawyer by 4:00 p.m. that day. Morrison and Lee, $10,000 retainer. They filed a counterpetition for emergency guardianship, claimed Grandma was incompetent, claimed I was manipulating her. We had a hearing scheduled for Friday, October 25th, but by then, other things were already falling apart from my father. On October 26th, Adult Protective Services Hawaii officially opened an investigation. Case number High 2025-1893. Lead investigator James Whitaker. On October 28th, bank subpoenas went out to Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Schwab. On October 30th, my father was questioned by APS investigators. Sir, he showed up with his attorney, refused to answer questions without legal counsel present, invoked his Fifth Amendment rights to every question. My mother's interview was different. She came alone. Vincent hadn't arranged a lawyer for her. She sat across from James and cried. I didn't know, she kept saying. Vincent handled all of Mother's finances. I just signed what he told me to sign. He said it was for her care. I didn't know how much. I thought it was just a few thousand here and there. Oh God, what do we do? James sent me an email that night. Interview with your mother today was illuminating. She claims ignorance. She's either genuinely unaware or playing dumb to save herself. Either way, she's cooperating now. While the investigation rolled forward, the wedding fallout spread through the family. Natalie's honeymoon was cut short on October 23rd. Brandon insisted they fly back to Los Angeles to deal with this. At the family group chat, the one I'd been removed from on October 20th exploded. 183 messages between October 20th and October 25th. My cousins started sending me screenshots. Aunt Linda, Mary has always been dramatic. I'm sure there's an explanation. Uncle Peter, wait, I want to hear Mary's side. $340,000 is serious. Cousin Rachel, I'm worried about Grandma. Has anyone actually talked to her? On October 24th, Rachel texted me directly. Mary, I don't know what's going on, but Uncle Vincent is telling everyone you're trying to steal Grandma's money. Is that true? I sent her one screenshot, the bank withdrawal timeline. She didn't reply for 6 hours then. Oh my God, does my mom know about this? The cracks were forming, but it wasn't just the family that was fracturing. Natalie's influencer career started taking hits. On November 2nd, her partnership with Be Well Supplements was paused pending resolution of family matters. $6,500 per sponsored post. Gone. Fun. Phew. Her follower count dropped 253,000 to 248,000 in 5 days. Comments on her post started asking questions. What's going on with your family? I heard something about your grandma. Is everything okay? Natalie deleted the comments, posted generic positivity content, avoided family topics, but the whispers in the LA influencer community had started. And on November 4th, my mother texted me for the 17th time since the wedding. This time, I answered. There was silence on the line. Then Mary, is Mother okay? I almost laughed after everything. After the exclusion, after the theft, after the isolation. Her first question was, is Mother okay? Not, I'm sorry. Not, I was wrong. Just, is she okay? She's safe, Mom, I said. That's all you need to know. That same day at 11:47 a.m., my mother sent a text. Mary, what did you do in Hawaii? I stared at those words. What did I do? I saved the woman you abandoned. I stopped the theft you enabled. I chose Grandma over your approval. I typed back. I did what you should have done years ago. I protected her. She read it immediately. Typing bubble appeared, then disappeared. No response. She had nothing to say. On November 8th, Thomas sent me a comprehensive email. The bank records had arrived. $340,217.50. Extracted over 11 months. Every single withdrawal had a corresponding facility visitor log showing Vincent was there that day. Every withdrawal listed purposes like enhanced medical care and specialized therapy that the facility never charged for. The money trail led to an account ending in 8,851. From there, it was transferred to Natalie Quirian Media, LLC. Thomas wrote, "This is textbook financial exploitation. The pattern is devastating. Your grandmother's testimony was, in the judge's words, remarkably clear and credible. He denied your father's guardianship petition. She remains under protective order. I'm forwarding this to the District Attorney's Economic Crimes Unit next week. Mary, this will likely result in criminal charges. Are you and your grandmother prepared for that?" I showed Grandma the email. We were sitting in my apartment in San Diego by then. I'd flown her back on November 10th. My small 2-bedroom in Hillrest had become our home. I'd converted the spare room into hers and new bed, photos of Grandpa on the dresser, her favorite books on the shelf, a window that caught the morning light. She'd cried when she first saw it. "You did this for me, Grandma." I said, "I'd do anything for you." Now reading Thomas's email, she was quiet for a long time. "Criminal charges," she said softly. "Against Vincent?" "Yes, he's my son." "I know." She looked at me. "But he's also a thief, and what he did was wrong." "Yes, then I'm prepared," she said. On November 15th, I sent one final email to my father, my mother, and Natalie. The subject line was blank. The message was short. "Moving forward, there will be no direct contact between any of you and Grandma Josephine unless she initiates it. There will be no contact with me. All legal and family matters will go through Attorney Thomas Brennan. If you violate this boundary, I will pursue a restraining order. Grandma is safe, healthy, and happy. That's all you need to know." My father replied within an hour, "You are a disgrace. You've poisoned Mother against her own family. This isn't over. We will fight this in court. You will lose." I blocked his email, blocked his phone number. My mother didn't reply. Natalie sent a message at 2:38 p.m. "I hope you're happy. You destroyed this family. Grandma will realize what you did eventually, and you'll be alone." I read half of it, deleted it, blocked her too. Grandma asked me that night, "Do you think they'll ever understand? We were making dinner pasta. Simple. The kind Grandma used to make when I was little." "I don't think they want to understand," I said, "and I'm done trying to make them." She nodded, stirred the sauce. "You know what I realized?" She said, "What?" For years, I felt powerless, useless, like I was just a burden everyone had to manage. She looked at me. But Mary, being here with you, taking care of this apartment together, cooking dinner, this is the first time in years I felt like I matter, like I have a purpose. I hugged her. You've always mattered, Grandma. I know that now, she said. On November 26th, the day before Thanksgiving, we went grocery shopping. Vans 11, turkey, potatoes, cranberries, pumpkin, pie crust, ingredients, $7,843. Grandma wanted to make her pumpkin pie, the recipe from 1965, the one Grandpa loved. Fail. We spent the afternoon in my small kitchen cooking together. She was lucid the entire time, 3 hours, maybe more, laughing, telling stories about Grandpa, about raising Vincent, about me as a child. You were always stubborn, she said, rolling out the crust. Your grandfather used to say you were just like him, stubborn, righteous, brave. I wish I remembered him better. He'd be so proud of you, sweetheart. Standing up to Vincent like that, that's pure Thomas Quirion. As the sun set, the apartment smelled like cinnamon and nutmeg and roasting turkey. Grandma sat at the table watching me mash potatoes. Mary, she said quietly, I need to tell you something. I stopped, turned. What is it, Grandma? She looked at her hands. When Vincent moved me to that place, part of me gave up. I thought maybe he was right. Maybe I was too much trouble. Ugh. Maybe I should just let go. Tears fell. But then you came and I remembered I was worth saving. I sat beside her, took her hand. You were always worth saving, Grandma. I know that now, she said. Thanksgiving morning, November 27th, 2025. I woke at 9:30 a.m. to find Grandma already up. She'd set the table, 2 places, simple white plates, cloth napkins I'd bought at Target, sunlight through the window, the pie cooling on the counter. We ate at noon. Turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, green beans. Just the 2 of us. No performance, no judgment, no need to be anyone but ourselves. Grandma said, Grace, thank you for second chances and for Mary. We ate slowly, talked, laughed, and for the first time in years, I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. After we finished, Grandma stood slowly and walked to the window, looked out at the San Diego skyline. I started clearing plates and she said, Mary, leave those. Come here. I joined her at the window. She took my hand. My hand. You know, sweetheart, you keep saying you saved me, but I don't think that's the whole truth. I looked at her confused. She smiled, gentle, wise. You didn't save me, Mary. She squeezed my hand. You finally let me save you too. I didn't understand at first. Then she continued, all those years I watched Vincent hurt you, exclude you, make you feel small, and I couldn't stop him. I was too scared, too weak. But when you came to Hawaii, when you chose me, you gave me a chance to be strong again, to be the grandmother I should have been all along. She turned to face me. You let me protect you finally, and that, my darling girl, saved me. We stood there for a long time just holding each other, 2 women against the window, city behind us, light around us, finally safe. A week later, I got a text from my father. This isn't over. I deleted it without reading past the first line because he was wrong. It was over. The fight was over. The need for their approval was over. The version of me that believed I was the problem, she was over too. I'd flown 14 hours to Hawaii, knowing they'd turn me away at the wedding, knowing I wasn't wanted, knowing I'd never be the daughter they wanted me to be. But I hadn't gone for them. I'd gone for Grandma. And in saving her, I'd found something I didn't know I was looking for. I'd found home. Home. Not in a place. Not in a big family with matching Christmas cards and rehearsal dinners and people who smiled for photos but cut you down in private. Home was this. A small apartment in San Diego. A grandmother who called me brave. A Thanksgiving dinner for 2. Pumpkin pie made from a recipe older than I was. Chosen family, and the quiet certain knowledge that I was finally exactly who I was supposed to be. The criminal investigation is still ongoing as I record this. The DA office is reviewing the case. Vincent has lawyered up completely. Natalie's influencer career is struggling. My mother calls sometimes. I don't answer. The family group chat still exists. I'm still not in it. And I'm okay with that because I have something better. I have Grandma. I have self-respect. I have boundaries. And I have peace that's worth more than any family dinner ever was. My name is Mary Quirion. I'm 29 years old, and I'm not the family failure.